Hello, my friends. Every day when I wake up, my day is about how to rise up and trying to find ways to be able to become my optimal self. Besides what I've been through the last couple of years, it's maybe the life of a typical 50-year-old. I want to be as optimal as I can be for myself, for my girlfriend, and most of all for my kids. And then suddenly, out of the blue, I received a message. Your father has cancer and he cannot be cured. He will not be around for very long anymore. Maybe it's weeks, maybe it's months. The shock was and still is huge. And to be honest, emotions are all over and thoughts are everywhere the whole day through. His journey is nearing its end. And what does this, and most of all, he means to and for my journey? When I was a kid, my father was working hard and studying too. He was studying to be an accountant. It's a very difficult course that he needed to follow, and he was trying to learn every night when he got home from work. He was just trying to be able to provide for his family and trying to work hard and get some raise, and then hopefully it will be a little bit easier. He was always doing the do-it-yourself tasks. Even he is totally not a really do-it-yourself guy. Somehow, in my memory, he always found a way to succeed in what he needed to do. And when he didn't, he still did. Besides that, he was facilitating everything for my mom, so she could have the life that is really important for her. I think that was and is still the thing that my father always worked for in his life. And besides that, my father was not someone who was very strict. When my father was around and I needed to ask something, I would always go to him. But when my mom said something, you're not obeying my mom, and she needed to call him, ooh, that was something else. He could be so terribly mad, at least that's what I remember. So you never wanted that my mom would call my dad to help her out because we were not obedient as a kid. I think my father always had a mission. And his mission was to make my mom happy and also to make sure that his kids will be independent enough and ready for their own lives. He told me several times, like, when you're 18, you need to be ready to have your own life. And it didn't mean that I should be out of the house or something, but he was like, hey, you're growing up. I want to teach you everything that you need. I want to guide you. I want to give you all the tools and skills that you need to have your own life. And I want to be ready when you're 18, so you can make your own choices. You can start living your own life. The difference is, when I was a teenager, between him and me were growing rapidly. And when someone, for example, would say like, hey, you look like your dad, I really never wanted to hear anything like that. I didn't agree about that too. In my eyes, I was so very different from my dad. It couldn't be more different than me. I think, looking back, you can really say that we didn't really understand each other. I think he never understood what I was doing, and maybe also because I left them quite a bit in the dark. I was someone who would just do whatever I thought was good, and I didn't mean anything bad about it, and I wasn't doing bad stuff, but I needed to have my freedom, something like that. And I had my own ideas, which were quite strong at that time, and still I didn't change that much. When I was an adult, I was quite independent. I just did everything the way I thought I should do it. And I thought of a lot of things, and always there was something in my mind. I thought about the most important thing, so I know what I'm doing and I will do just that. And my father had a different kind of thinking, so when I told my ideas to him, he was like, what? That's not wise. You should do this, that, and blah, blah, blah. Or when there were things that he thought like, oh, here it comes, something that Ronald is doing, it comes to an end now. I never wanted to accept the end. I was always trying to figure out a way so I could continue doing what I was doing. And somehow, in a lot of things, I was able to do what I wanted to do, what seemed to be stopping, but it was never the easy way. My father was always there for practical help. I remember that every moving that I did from one house to another, he was always there with his trailer, always helping me out. And I just moved around 18 times, yes, really, that much, until I was around 39 years old. But also when there were things that I wanted to do, like some gardening or whatever, he was always ready when I asked. He was always ready to help. Whatever he could do, he would do. And later on in his life, he became a grandfather. He always enjoyed seeing those boys doing their thing. And he wanted them to explore. And for example, the kid of my brother, when he's there, he always wants to do a couple of things, like with tools in the attic. And then he said, okay, just do your thing. And he will just sit down and watch. And he can enjoy that boy playing with all the tools. And also my boys, when they are having a match of playing soccer, when he's there, he just enjoys to see them play, to see them do their thing. Maybe that's something that he always liked to see, that everyone would do their thing, the thing that they are themselves in, or they are the best part of themselves. When I was a young adult, somehow I was crazy enough to start a theater show. It was like, we called it a show concert. I did it together with a friend of mine. And actually, that friend did most of the work, but the idea came from the both of us. And we loved singing. And we were thinking about how can we get a stage for ourselves to sing. We didn't have any experience. We didn't have any singing classes or whatever. So what we did was, we thought like, hey, why don't we try to hire a stage, sell tickets, and the profit that we make, we give it to UNICEF. And I think we were 20 years old or something like that when we started that. Actually, my mom and dad didn't even know that I sang at all. They had no idea. They found out when I told them like, hey, I'm going to sing at a show night that I organized with my friend Ruben. Would you like to come? But you have to pay for the ticket. So my father told me recently that he was so surprised that suddenly I was on a stage and I sang and he loved it. And that he said, it's not just one of my sons. Actually, it was the both. Because the other one had composed a song and we sang it together. So I think my father was the type of guy that would always very much enjoy it when people would be their optimal selves, trying to find their happy moments in life. It's a beautiful thing. He talks a lot about his accomplishments in life. And one of the most important things, as it seems, is that he's seeing that his kids live their lives independent and they found their way to a nice life. And he said, the most beautiful thing about what we are all doing as kids is that we are doing it in our own way. We are very different from each other. I think he likes it that we are so different and also really found our own ways to get the happy moments in life, to get the perfect purpose in life that we really want. He also told me that one of the most important things for him is that he saw all his grandchildren. There will not be any more grandchildren than he has now. He saw them all. He spent time with them. He was able to hug them. I think one of his accomplishments is also that he gave my mom a rich life. Not necessarily in money. Important thing for my dad is still that he sees my mom happy, being as happy as can be. And his kids as happy as can be. As I said, we didn't have a big budget. But he made the most out of that small amount for the whole family. Now it's a time that we as kids will slowly take over the things that he built. And especially make sure that my mom will be fine. And those are mostly practical things. And if there's some trouble, some kind of thing not working, he showed me how everything is arranged with those technical stuff. So I will take care of when he's not around anymore. Most of all, it's nice to maintain something that he built and make sure that my mom will always be able to do whatever she wants to do. And it will be done on the thing that he built. And it's nice to be able to maintain that. Lately we're having a lot of conversation about what life meant for him. And what I think is really remarkable is that he is very calm and happy about the life that he has. And he would have loved to stay here for many, many, many years more. But he also said, my dad and my mom never became as old as I am now. And he's just 74. He said, I have bonus years. That's how I feel. And when I look around, I can just only be grateful for everything that I've experienced with, of course, with his wife, with my mom. Also with his kids and grandchildren. He's proud of them. So his gratefulness for everything that he has experienced is so big that he said, I'm not looking really forward to not be there anymore. But I have my religion. I will be partying in heaven. That gratitude is really inspiring and is really helping us a lot. Now in those last weeks, months, we are making some more memories. Next week we will have a vacation with me, my brother, and his girlfriend, and the grandchildren who are here, and with my mom and my dad, and also share the gratefulness to him for everything that he taught us. So there are a couple of things that I learned in the last 2-3 weeks that I know this. The present is much more important than the past and the future. We cannot change anymore. We can learn some lessons from it, but that's it. The future is something you're longing for or looking forward for or whatever, but you don't have the future. You're not living in the future now. The moment we have now, that's all that matters. And even I'm going to lose my dad, and we know that it won't take very long anymore. I should not look into the future too much, but live in the present, here, right now. I still have him. We can still have the talks, we can still have the memories, making the memories. We still can. So let's use that time that we still have. What I also realized is when I'm looking at what I'm doing in my life now, I'm much more like my dad than I've ever thought before. The results can be very, very different from the results that he would go for. The way I'm thinking about a lot of things are quite the same. I just use different tools to get somewhere. I can really say that he teaches me just about everything. I'm also trying to find strength in vulnerability. I'm not used to that. Normally I would always try to find the positive thing, go on, but it's also good to stand still and admit life can be hard. Life can be emotional, and it's good to have those emotions, to feel them. But don't stay in there. It's good to feel, because feel can give a meaning and show what you feel. I'm trying to do that, and people are not used to it, that I'm doing it, but I'm really trying. Because if you can both feel the same things, or maybe also different things, but you see what the other is feeling, and you can have your feelings there, they can be there together, then you can get closer. I think it's like magnets. I think it works like that. And what I'm learning, the biggest lesson, is the power and the beauty of gratitude. Candy already told me so many times to be grateful for everything that is happening. Of course, I was trying, and I'm grateful for quite a lot of things in my life. But because of what I'm experiencing now with my father and the way he looks at his life, I get a more a sense of what grateful can mean. I think in general we live in a world with expectations. Setting goals, go for it, achieve something. And if we won't achieve the thing that we want to achieve, then we didn't meet up to the expectation of ourselves. And we will be so very down, angry, sad, whatever. But being grateful for the experience you had, grateful for everything that was there, the small inner goals that you achieved. And I think my father had one thing always very good on top of mind. He wanted to make my mom happy. He wanted to provide for his family and facilitate everything that my mom needed in the ways that he could. He learned so many things, but not because he wanted to learn them, but he needed to do it to achieve his goal, and that was making my mom happy and provide for his family. He's grateful for everything that he has been through, and he succeeded in that goal. If I look at my brothers and sisters, they all have a great life. And even I can be sad about the things that I've been through. I'm also grateful for everything that I experienced. There were also very beautiful moments. So maybe that's what I learned too from my dad, and I'm still learning. So in trying to rise from my own losses, I discovered that my father's greatest gift wasn't in the words he spoke, but in the life that he lived. His peace isn't just acceptance, it's the quiet confidence of knowing he lived fully, loved deeply, and his gratitude for all that he experiences and has experienced in his life. It leaves me saying, thank you for everything, Dad. And I remember that I thought I would always do things very different from the way you did them. You did your things. But now that I'm 50 and you're nearing the end of your journey, I have to admit I'm just like you, with so many things. Even the results of what I'm doing can be very different. They are all at least deeply inspired by the way you handle things. Thank you, Dad.